Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Of Mice and
Wolves. Ow! This is the comic book show where we help others in the comic book industry, and we'll workshop through their issues that they may be having. And without further ado, well, let's bring on our guests.
Cool.
How's it going, everyone?
Hey, Jack. Tell the good people who you are and what you do, sir.
Yes.
So my name's Jack Holder. I'm the writer and creator for Arcane Industries, and currently talking about Legends of the Realm, an epic fantasy comic series.
How you doing, Fred?
Hey, Fred?
Doing great, guys. How's everybody?
Good. Welcome back.
Please introduce yourself.
For those of you that aren't sick of me, my name is Fred Schwartz. I'm the writer and creator of Fisticuffs, and we are launching June 2nd. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Happy to be here.
All right, cool. How you doing, Madeleine? Please.
Hi. I'm Madeleine Holly-Rosing. I'm the writer-creator of Boston Metaphysical Society and Morgana Pendragon. We just finished fulfilling the last Morgana Pendragon campaign, and we're 1 week into Boston Metaphysical Volume 3 as I watch my dog wander in and wander out.
Yeah, I just got mine too, actually, not too long ago.
Oh, great.
All right, cool. All right, Rob, please explain the rules.
Explain the rules for you
before I break them.
All right, so these rules apply to everybody except for JD, apparently. My illustrious co-host.
Yes.
So the way this show works is that we are going to start with one. So we go go clockwise. So Jack, you'll be first. Everybody has their issue. We will go through and ask. You'll say what the issue is, and then we'll go around and ask what you've tried. So then that way, when we get to the kind of like what we think is the answer section, we're not giving answers that you've already tried. We'll make sure all the questions are asked first, and then we'll move on to answers. So don't start filling in the gaps until the time, JD.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, Jack, what is your issue, sir?
So my issue is actually very new for me. So I don't really have a lot of answers to start off with, but I'm really happy to be here, especially with Madeleine being here, as well as Rob and JD for this.
Fred's like, what about me, you schmuck?
No, I thoroughly agree. I'm not much to remark about. So I'm not here to see me either.
I had to, though, because he just called out everybody in the room.
Oh, it was an invitation for sure. It was really oh, I know.
So this year has been a bit of a transformative year for me. I fully incorporated as an LLC for Arcane Industries, and with some new almost angel investing backing, I'm doing a lot more with Legends of the Realm. We're going to be launching 2 one-shots after this Kickstarter in the Legends of the Realm universe.
Is Evan doing those as well?
Evan is getting a promotion. He is now upgrading to. He is still working on the Legends of the Realm mainline series, and he is being known as art director. So we have a couple of creative teams that we have put together over the last month for the one shots, and Evan is overseeing the mainline series. And so my question really is about keeping the artistic quality and integrity up to a certain level while expanding into this almost managerial role of having to manage a bunch of absolutely amazing artists. Like, some of them have worked on Legends of the Realm covers. Some of them are brand new, and I'm really excited, but it's figuring out how to manage a couple of creative teams while putting everything together.
Okay.
Cool.
Does okay, so now we get into the clarification questions of this, and I know since it's not so much what Jack has done for this, it's probably going to be more a little bit of like clarification stuff. But I have a few questions, but let's do Madeleine first. What are your questions for Jack, if any?
I guess it comes to an issue I was going to talk about is scaling. And what you're talking about is scaling, and which is great that you found partners that you trust can bring on board and to help you expand. When you talk about managing this and that, I mean, I am it, period. And so that was part of the issues is scaling upward and outward with the business, which is that my understanding is how what you're trying to do is set yourself up in a managerial role, but does this preclude you doing a creative side, or are you giving that up?
It definitely does not mean I'm giving that up. I'm writing all of the stories, Legends of the Realm, the one-shots. I've got an epic fantasy prose book that I'm hoping will come out next year as well. The angel investor is more my new COO. So it is more, we are still trying to figure out how to manage everything while allowing creative time to keep going and manage 3 kids.
Yeah.
Life.
It's the delegation is the hard part.
Yes.
Trust and delegation.
Fred, do you have any questions for Jack?
I do actually. First of all, how many projects are you like trying to do again simultaneously? Like, and well, let's do it that first. Like, how many is it like at this time you're trying to do?
That's a very good question. Because right now I would say the answer is 6. All connected.
But you have like 6 that you're like receiving like pages on and that are like in process now?
In some way, shape, or form. So number 1, we got the Volume 1 trade paperback that's on Kickstarter right now. No plug. We've got... I am figuring out the edits for book 1 of the Epic Fantasy Prose series. Writing book 2, finishing up writing the scripts for the 2 one-shots, and starting the graphic novel for volume 2 of Legends of the Realm. So,
and as far as this LLC goes and the angel investor, they own how much of the company, or like how does that breakdown work? Like, is it
30%?
30%. So then 60% is with, or 60 plus percent, 70% is, wow, shit. 70% is with you. I was being generous.
Half in there, Fred.
I'm not mad. 70% is with you, right?
Yes.
So then, So then what is the actual, like, what is the issue that you're running into right now besides like hours, like in the day? Is there any like particular project that you feel is like suffering that you're not able to get to kind of?
Oh, sometimes I've run into there's not enough hours in the day because of I'm a stay-at-home parent, Fred. So Rob has heard this a bunch. My twins are 2 years old.
Twins, wow.
Yeah, and toddlers, no less.
Yeah.
Toddler twins, and the oldest is going to turn 5 this summer. So it's going to be a really interesting summer. I'm not worried as much about the business, someone's going to do something scummy sort of thing, more about how to keep all of these balls up in the air properly while moving the business forward, and making sure that these new teams that are coming in both have the artistic freedom to explore what they're doing without sacrificing what the main artist, Evan Scale, has done for 6 years. And Rob would be the first one to toot Evan's horn.
Oh yeah, Evan. He's a workhorse, and two, he's good at what he does. I mean, hands down.
Well, and one more clarification question too. As far as the LLC partner, did you, when you guys entered into this together, taking them on as an investor and whatnot, did he enter in with any expectations, like any timetable for his ROI, or any certain the Kickstarters have to be in at a certain time or anything like that?
No, because it's my mother.
Oh, okay.
So that's why when you said I smiled, because I already knew this.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great position to be in then, because if mom, no, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it sounds like if mom's the angel investor, they're going to give you the breathing room to let your vision execute, right? She's not, unless, your mom doesn't have a timetable on you, you pay me back by Thanksgiving or you're not invited type deal.
No. She has the timetable of, why won't you let me give you more money?
Oh, geez. Well, I can help her with that problem. Shit. I need an angel. Okay, so that actually sounds like it's not as bad a position to be in, because you kind of have a little bit of time to make sure that the creative aspects are up to your standards. You're not fighting a calendar right now as badly.
No, I right now I am focused on trying to make sure the literary and artistic quality stay at the standards that I have set for myself.
Gotcha.
I would say that I really want to at least try to meet Madeleine and Rob's standards of writing in comics. If not Kickstarter success, that is a very high bar.
Welcome to the shit house, JD.
I might as well just cut off here. I am just kicking myself. JD's the first one of all of them I've met.
I'm just teasing, man. I'm just teasing you. You seem like the nicest guy.
JD
I know.
In person or on here? I mean,
the first time I met JD, he won't remember this, was massive Comic-Con 2016.
Was that in New Hampshire?
No, massive, when the Double Midnight guys in Worcester.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, you're right. I don't remember that at all.
Well, it was 10 years
I did
ago.
a lot of shows. I did a lot of shows in Massachusetts. I did, Boston Comic Con. I did a bunch of them.
Well, Jack,
Yep.
I've got a question for you. It sounds like you do have confidence in the artists that you have hired, correct? And they all have track
Yes.
records. And they all have good track records, correct?
Yes.
Then I think you need to take a breather, inhale and exhale, and let them do their jobs.
That is such a hard thing to do, especially when you're in the new company phase of, okay, now let's just shove everything out there and make the money as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I mean, once you have, obviously they're not employees, they're contractors. So I don't want to get anybody in any legal binds here.
Before we get into the advice part of it, let's
Okay.
Anybody else, JD, or because I do have a couple questions, but
All I have is answers. I don't have any questions.
All right, so cool. I do have some questions. So Jack, how many art teams are we talking about exactly? And are you using any project management tools online or apps or other?
For the second one, the answer is no. And technically 3 teams, but it could really be construed as 1 team and 2 singular artists, one of which is Evan. So
How does that work? I mean, so you have
so Evan's working on Legends of the Realm.
right,
One artist is working on one shot.
right.
All by she's doing everything for that.
Like,
and then I've got
like they're both doing illustration and colors.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's technically 2 art teams if you want to really want to.
Exactly. That's 2 art teams, and then there's a 3rd legit art team where I've got a penciler, an inker, and a colorist.
Okay, so 3. So we're talking 3 art teams, and
yes,
is Evan as the director, the art director? Is he managing them or just giving them his 2 bits to keep it kind of within his style?
He's going to be giving his 2 bits, and he's getting he's putting together a new compilation of concept art for people so they can work from.
Okay, how much as an art director? Because you said he's basically getting a raise or whatever, not a raise, but a new position, if you will, as art director. How much is he going to be doing as far as managing these 3 teams, including himself? And how much are you going to be doing as far as managing?
I am probably going to be doing the bulk of the managing, because we're going to be changing our focus from single issues to almost full volumes for Evan going forward. That one is a new direction that Evan is excited about. Instead of doing a bunch of smaller issues, just going straight to full volumes.
I mean, in a perfect world, that would be a nice way to go.
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody else have any more questions, or can we let Madeleine run with what her thought was?
Yep. Let her go.
Madeleine, could please continue.
Remember where I was.
Sorry.
I come up here. So it sounds like, yes, you have a certain amount of confidence with your new art director, Evan, as I understand it.
Yes.
It might be wise to give him more duties, to delegate more to him, to take it off your plate, because your plate is obviously very full. And if you have trusting, and I wouldn't, just dump it on him, just, do it a little bit at a time to see how he handles it. And if he does one thing really well, then you can add another thing, and then, et cetera. And then just, basic, you got to prioritize everything. I mean, on a daily basis, the priorities are going to shift every single day. And some days it's going to be your kids because one of them's sick, and then everything's going to be shoved off. And then the next day they're better, and but every day you need to look at what your priorities are and then execute it like that. But yeah, they're probably going to change daily. You're going to have, it's just like storytelling. You're going to have your episodic priorities, and then you're going to have your overarching priorities that have to be ultimately accomplished in the long run. And so it's like a dual level prioritization of what needs to immediately be done. And then, okay, I need to do this a little bit here, so this over here happens. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And sometimes it'll feel like just taking off a couple of marketing hats and putting on 3 more artistic ones.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of handwriting lists, which I redo all the time. And then when I finish something on the list, I mark it off with it. And it feels like, it's psychologically such a wonderful thing. I can mark it off the list and move on to whatever else is there. But it gives you a sense of relaxation, so you can breathe a little bit. It's like, okay, I've been able to mark off 1 thing on my list today, and that's great.
I'm with Madeleine on that. I love lists. I love taking things off of them. I agree. The psychological reward, it is like the best dopamine hit, you know? So I second that. My suggestion, did you have anything else, Madeleine? Or
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
My suggestion kind of really goes in line with what Madeleine says, right? About like prioritizing. You know, I'm going to butcher the exact speaking, you know, the exact terminology here, but like they talked about Steve Jobs, and what he was really good at was like determining the frequency versus the noise, I think it is, or, you know, meaning like what needs to get done versus like, you know, stuff that's kind of a waste of time and energy. So, you know, I'm not saying that any part of your art is or anything like that, but what I would do if I was in your position and like the investor is not like down your neck to get all these ships up, you know, in the air right now. I'm a big person on like kind of focusing on one project or, you know, or one thing on a through line. So I would, you know, or, you know, kind of putting all your quality into, you know, one story rather than spreading yourself too thin. So I would try to take maybe some stuff off the back end and stuff. You were talking about like you have to get this started and that stuff. Like if you don't need to be spinning the plates in the air right now, don't put them in the air. Keep you know, try to minimize the amount of projects you have going on so you can put more time into the ones that need the time and love right now.
And yeah, that is definitely happening. I'm finishing up the second of the one shots right now, just trying to get both of those tightened up as much as possible. So hopefully over the summer, two teams can actually be working on those at the same time. So we could maybe get those launched in the fall and winter.
Okay.
Cool.
JD, do you have anything to add before I jump in and save him?
Well, a couple things. One, you had said you were wrangling on editing a script or manuscript. I don't know if you already have one. You may already have one. I would advise getting an editor that doesn't mind hurting your feelings, because a good one will do what they have to do to get it to where it needs to be. Right?
I'll get the red pen. Quick. Yeah. That's just part of life. That's just what it is, right? Especially on a novel. You know, if you're working in prose, comics a little bit more loosey goosey, right? I mean, we have a history of not working with editors. I mean, you got people like Dave Sim and Jeff Smith and a bunch of others within the indie community that just don't work with editors. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to prose, though, I would definitely suggest you get a really tough one. The other thing is,
second that.
It is happening. It is book one has already been through an editorial assessment from a pro.
Okay. Well, I'm a professional editor.
Yes.
Don't tell me a professional writer, because that's the same thing.
No. Professional editor. I promise.
Okay. The other thing I would caution on is, even though your angel investor is your mother, be very, very judicious in the way you spend your money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Remember that whatever money your mother gives you, right, she worked hard for, right?
It's not a gift. It is an investment. It is
right.
something
that's what I'm saying. Be judicious, right? Yeah. Because sometimes I know how it is. You get a big bulk of money, and you're like, yeah, let me start cheat, because I do it all the time, right? I get a stack of cash, and I'm like, let me get some artwork. So that's what I mean. It's sometimes very tempting to be like, oh, let me do this project.
This artist is $1,000. Let me throw it at him.
Exactly, and you get a little. It can be very easy to get very excited. So, like Madeleine suggests, take a deep breath, relax. Remember your original core. You were broke, right?
Treat it as if it was your money that you would be spending
right
safely.
Right, exactly, and just be be cautious with it. That's my biggest advice. It's just like, spend it like you're spending your last dime. So there you go. But that's not to say don't be cheap. Get good artists, get the people you need and you want, and then but Just don't go crazy. You know. So, yeah, that's what I got for you.
All right. I'm going to actually share my screen. Jack, I highly suggest you use Trello for project management. And I'm going to show you.
Rob, do you get a cut, man? Do you get
I
a cut?
wish. I doubt this thing so much. You know what I mean? Like,
You should get a cut.
I really
pay you a fee.
Of course, it's not going to let me share it because I'm on a different window. Damn it. Well, while I talk, anyway, I have to switch accounts because I'm on my work Trello, not my other Trello. There we go. Switch accounts. Yeah. So essentially, Trello is a project management tool could be used for whatever. I use it for my full-time job for email, web design, marketing, all that kind of stuff. So I actually used Trello before this job, which is fun because when I found out they were using Trello, I was very happy because I got very proficient in it really quick. So I'm going to pull up the Evan's pages in the Trello board that I worked with him. So that's another thing. Now I have introduced Trello to him because Madeleine, you may or may not know, Evan is actually the artist who illustrated the page that you wrote.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't remember. Thank you for reminding.
Yeah, so same artist.
Great.
Yep. Let's see, share screen.
He does lovely work.
He does, yes. All right, so can everybody see this green lovely thing here?
Green lovely thing.
Yeah. All right, so essentially how I start out my projects is so I'll do all of like the page, like chat, like it'll be for my template. I have cover page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way down to 24, right? They essentially start out over here blank. And then as the artists work, they will then attach like roughs. So like this was like Evan's rough layout of the page. And then, we discuss it. What's nice about this is you can have comments, you can track everything. If you really want, you can do checklists. So like if you have, let's say, 5 things that you didn't like about something on the page when he was working on like, the extreme rough, you could say, this needs to be this, and this. And you can type it out, in the checklist here. So there'd be like edits, changes, add that. And then like here, you were like, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that. Blah, blah, blah. I don't like that. And then as he tackles them, he can then check them off his list and you can track that. So it's nice. One, it's accountability. You can see all the conversations and you can get the app on your phone. So you can always, if you're not even home or if you're taking care of the kids and you're feeding them, but like, while they're sitting there eating or whatever, you can hop on your phone and answer something real quick if you wanted. Or if you're out and about, and your wife doesn't mind if you take a minute on your phone. Mine usually gets a little pissy, but that we deal. But then, you come up and you have these finalized pages, right? And you can approve them and then you move on to, since he's the colorist and this other person is the colorist, you can have them do all of it in one. I typically do one per person because it's just easier to track that way and keep the conversation simple. So like once we get to once they start doing it, it goes into the doing column, and then once it's done, it goes into the done column. So we know everything's done. From here, I then take it over to the colors, and Bruna then takes and she does with the flatting, and we go over this. It's basically the same process but with colors, right? To get to the end result, you have the conversations and you have the lovely end product, right? So, and I do that also with the lettering. When I work with a letter, usually if with Nightwolf I do the lettering, with Snowpaw it's been Dave Lentz. So that's another step. Then I go into the other board. What's also nice about doing this as well, so you will then have your team, right? You have your Evan you can kind of help track Evan's stuff because, you know, obviously when he's drawing his stuff, he needs you to talk about his stuff, right?
Yep.
Whereas he can do, since he can do this same thing with the other artists to give you a break, right? Since he's not actually doing the art, he can be picky about it. Whereas like when you're in something, you know, you need that extra set of eyes sometimes. So another thing too that's nice in what I do with marketing. So this is kind of like, you know, all those lovely things that you see that I put on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the other social platforms. I also work with Nita Lanning and Heather Ellen. And sometimes Mog's also on this as well. But I don't think she ever took anything from it whenever we were live. But I set up a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which is basically the same as Blue Sky too. So like this basically becomes both of those. But you know, that's, you know, this is like the Facebook version with like the tags for the people, you know, then they could easily copy and paste into it. And then this is the Instagram version because, you know, you have this shorter link and then you have the Instagram tags. Same with, you know, this one I didn't actually do, but let's go to, so this would be like a Twitter version, you know, it has the Twitter links and all that. So it's nice to be able to, like, especially if you're working with more people and having them, you already have the stuff that you're going to share yourself, but this also kind of gives you like a kind of a calendar. So like you see how I have like the countdown here, I will lay it out in each channel before I like the week before, and then I will schedule it in the business stuff. That way, like that's all done, and then I can focus on other things. So it's nice to be able to like keep track of all that stuff and have it. Plus, what's nice too is that since this is basically a reusable platform, I take the same stuff, like, so like the 6 hours left, you know, and all these countdown things, those are all reused cards. I just update the very little information, like the dates. So this date changes. Sometimes the artist changes because it's a different like cover that I'm showing. The tags that like those are the only like, but I'm not creating the whole cards over again. Like the bulk of it is still here, you know, updating the link, you know, that kind of stuff. So these are nice for kind of like also being able to have templates that you can reuse over and over and over again, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single campaign.
Right.
Do you have any questions? I know that's a lot.
No, it's just a lot to get through.
It is, but it is once you have like systems in place and you kind of have like once it's set up, you have them and you can reuse them over and over again. So kind of going to the whole scaling thing, having systems is what's going to save you.
Yes.
Because you can visually see everything, and you have like a pipeline where, you know, each artist is able to kind of track what they're doing, and you're not getting lost in Facebook messages or emails. You have one place and you can access it from anywhere you have, you know, like on your phone or your computer, you know, or what have you.
Right. Great. Sorry. It's
one more thing for him to learn.
Honestly, it's very intuitive, and Jack, if you want, sometime I can help you set up your boards. It's
okay.
So that's not a problem. It's very ezy, and yeah.
You fried the guy's brain. You fried his brain. Look at it.
A little bit, yeah.
You fried his brain.
He'll explain it to you. That's why Rob gets his 35% from the company.
I'm going to go to Trello and I'm going to demand it. I want referral codes.
Trello Multari soon. It'll be hyphenated.
There you go. Yep. All right, cool. Jack, I hope that helped. I mean,
it did.
Okay, good. I'm very, very happy. All right, very nice. Fred.
Yeah.
You're up.
Sure. So when you're on streaming shows, how do you keep dogs quiet? That would be.
I would
water buffalo ears.
Hold them in your lap and pet them.
he doesn't want that. He wants to go play and he wants attention. He slept all day for this, and now he's got energy.
Oh, gotcha.
Buddy. No, I have a real question, but
Go ahead.
stop, or you're going to go out. Okay, he's going to be quiet now. Okay. So my question is, all right, how to phrase this per se? All right. So obviously we all do a lot of streaming and shows like this, where we're talking about our comics and things of that nature. When you're doing these things, I'm new to this, right? So like I try not to speak about things I don't know about, obviously. And I try not to get involved in any kind of drama or anything like that. Like I'm at a point in my life where like I just don't want that kind of stuff. Like I'm not that guy. But what I would like to know is when how and when do you guys speak up when there's something that may be either a hot take or maybe there's something that you feel a certain way about? But maybe you're not, sure. So I'll give an example. Right? We talked a little bit about this earlier in the week. Did JD and I on a show.
Uh-oh.
So this is why I'm bringing it up now, because it's like, I got JD to throw on top of the grenade. No, so last week, we all know what happened with Kickstarter and stuff. And I didn't want to say anything right away because I'm still new to this and I didn't, know enough to, really voice a lot. Okay. And, people, had a lot to say. And, it was after a while, it wasn't that like the topic itself was something that I felt like I wanted to speak on per se, but I felt like I wasn't a fan of the way I felt like people kind of fragmented, right? And kind of, were kind of flippant about what was happening to other people within the community, whether, you agree with their style of what they do or not. I just felt there was a human element that maybe was getting mixed or whatever. So I guess, and I wound up coming on the show with, on a show that JD was also on, and a few of the other creators were very forthcoming about a lot of what they said, and said a lot of stuff, sentiments that I shared. So I guess what I'm saying is, or what I'm asking is, when do you? All right, now you're just being way too bad. Come here. When do you feel like there's something that you comment on? When do you feel like there's something that you bite your tongue on?
Okay. I don't really think we need questions for this one. I just think we need to answer this.
I mean, I feel like this one's pretty straightforward, but let's ask before we do.
Fair enough.
Does anyone have any clarification questions, or do you think we could just jump into this one?
I don't have any. I agree with Fred. If it's something that I am not terribly knowledgeable about, I'll generally watch the thread and try to educate myself on how other people are feeling and not really jump in. Being that in this particular instance, I've been with Kickstarter now for over a decade. None of my stuff is not fit for work, but as you know, some of the before they pulled back on everything, some of my future stuff may have been on the fence somehow. And that may have been for a lot of you. It's like, well, what about the future stuff that I may or may not do? And you just have to remember, I think, that many people just want to be heard. So you just need to let them vent. And just let them vent. And then when things kind of calm down a bit, then you can start asking particular questions of people later on. But yeah, when something is that explosive happens that quickly, for me, I just have to take a step back and see how it's all going to play out. Usually I tell my husband about it and he's like, well, haven't they thought of an alternative payment structure or something like that? I said, I don't know what they're doing back there. But yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts.
Cool. Jack, do you have any thoughts?
Plenty.
Right?
So I know the question is right now focused on everything that's gone on with Kickstarter in the last week and a half. But I think what Fred's also getting into is the larger question about when to speak up and when to jump in to the quagmire. And I have a really weird perspective about this. As Rob and I think JD are aware, I come from a very pastoral background. I have a master's in theology, and come from a very religious background. So I very much come from the why don't you speak up in church kind of thing. So that's where I'm coming from. And so, Fred, my answer really is you should speak up. There's no other way for me to say this, even though the words are going to seem charged. You should. I always feel like you should only speak up when you feel it would be a sin to yourself not to. If you feel like you are betraying your sense of self, I don't believe in speaking up just because something's currently relevant or anything. I didn't speak up about anything with the not safe for work stuff, mostly because I felt it was so complicated and I was so removed. Mm-hmm. But there have been times over the last decade where I spoke up and just had to figure out what my lines were. I know it's very hard. I also know the racial makeup of this panel can sometimes make it feel even more awkward. And even if I don't know if any of us even fall on the LGBTQ spectrum, that's another thing where we would feel awkward about. But it's, I think most of the time, the best thing that you could be is genuine, heartfelt, and considerate. I don't think any time that you feel passionate about something that you should speak rashly. If you feel passionate, you should write it out, whether on a piece of paper or even a Word document, and then set it aside for a few minutes or even an hour. And then from there, but I have definitely written newsletters where I get into these topics, but that's over like the course of a week instead. I have the benefit of I've gotten to write sermons instead, so I get to push my views. But as long as you're heartfelt, genuine, and considerate, then I think people will respect you for when you do choose to speak up.
Cool.
JD?
Have you heard of this program called Trillo?
I heard they have a feature that can like make dogs quiet. It's amazing.
No, but I mean, you've heard what I had to say about that particular topic, but on the topic of getting involved, right, with certain people or whatever, getting involved, because I consider them as arguments, right? Because that's what it just boils down to. A lot of people just arguing about whatever subject matter it is. I tend to recuse myself from a lot of that stuff. I tend to not to comment on it because I have other things to do, right? I just really have other things to do. I just don't have time for it, right? And to be honest with you, on the internet, it's very easy to get the stupid prize, right? And usually the stupid prize is getting involved, right? If I want to discuss it, I will just bring it up on my show as a topic and we'll talk about it, right? Like adults, right? We'll try to rationalize it. We'll try to bring it about because, the whole thing with Kickstarter, like we don't, people doing whatever comic type you want to do, we don't know why they're doing it, right? For some people, they're trying to make money. For some people, it's some kind of cathartic release. For some people is, they're just trying to get something off their chest, right? It's not always about money, right?
Sometimes so we don't getting know. Off their chest means something else.
Right. Well, that's true too, right? So, but it just depends on because there's so many different things. And, the way we discussed it last Sunday was, it's not just about, nudity and pornography and all that stuff. Is like, it also hits on violence right? So, I know, Aaron was just mentioning it there in the thing. It was just, it's about violence. I think it was Clay Adams was talking about in one of the chats. He was talking about how they flagged one of his pages from his book, right?
Yeah, Stripe shut down their cover.
Yeah, I saw it, and it was like,
right. And it,
okay,
right. I mean, they had Faust on their platform. I mean, Faust. Tim Vigil. This is perhaps as violent and pornographic as it gets, right? And they flagged him for that page. I'm like, I don't know what's going on there.
Right? Because the visual, somebody saw it that worked for sure.
Yeah, no, I got it. But it's one of those things where it's just like, I think as far as like I said, getting back to the main subject about online arguments or conversations or stuff, try to regulate yourself. As I said to Jack earlier, judiciously try to pull back as much as you can, because in the end, it's not going to really do anything for you. It's just, unless you want to build a career like some people have of just getting into arguments, getting into drama, getting into all these things and just saying these things just to say them, just so they can get their names out there. Right. Well, because
I have a corollary to this part too, because this is kind of like a part B to this question. And it's so how do you manage that with because we talk about, you mentioned the phrase, which I loved, not yucking somebody's yum, right? Yeah. And how do you deal with that when you just talk about content that you like, I for example, I was on a show that I do the other day where we talk critically about movies and stuff, and I blurted out a hot take about a comic movie that I'm not a fan of, and it the visceral pop was oh my god, and it's here I am trying to do what the show is about, picking apart movies and stuff like that, and it's at the same time, in that regard, I am totally yucking somebody's yum, and I don't mean to. I'm trying to just talk about
Well, if that was the point of the show, though, I kind of feel like you were in the right there. And let me just say, I hated Endgame. I don't care what anybody says; it was garbage.
Well, the first 2 hours are completely pointless. Don't get me started. It's it's a non-movie. So you don't need it.
Right. Exactly.
But
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so we did.
I'm sorry, Rob. Just hold on. Okay.
I told you it was your show. No.
I mean, I completely agree with JD. I generally follow a policy of non-engagement with the crazy stuff that's on social media. And many of you have probably seen my posts. They're usually very nice and hey, love it, great art, whatever. Or if someone is talking about something professional in the industry,
see, I'm not the only one.
Art Euban was talking about just recently on Facebook about selling at cons and dealing with empty tables and what he did. And then I wrote, pro tip here. This is what I have done in the past at many. And he went oh my God, that's a great idea. Which, by the way, is if you have empty tables around you at a con, get the other people in the row with you to put marketing material all over it, leave an empty coffee cup, and it looks like somebody's there.
Oh,
yeah,
smart.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you ask the showrunners if they're not coming, you might be able to score yourself.
There's that too. Right. It depends. There's variations of all of that. But I mean, that's an example of the kind of advice I'll give. It's something practical that everyone can use. Like JD, I don't have time for people to get into fights. It's just stupid. Yeah. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, if it's something you feel strongly about, I would never tell you to hold back, right? But I would tell you to consider it before you type a single word. And that's the other thing. I get paid to write. Okay. So if I'm going to sit down and have a conversation with someone about whatever trash is coming out of their brain, and I'm not getting paid for it, like, you better believe, like, I'm like, the brakes go on real heavy.
Maybe I can make money that way. Like,
I mean,
getting paid to argue with people.
Right. But I don't. So that's why I
Sounds like a
typically,
lawyer.
that's another thing that I just add on to that. It's just like, oh, well, I'm not getting paid for this. Boop, let me go do something else that I will, one, enjoy, and two, make some money for my artist, because that's usually how it works. But yeah.
So, and I'm in the same boat as JD and Madeline when it comes to this, because I don't talk about anything really, except for like you see on my pages, the only thing I talk about are my books, your books, other people's books, my family, the things my family's doing, like sharing what Kickstarters I've backed, what books I get, stuff like that. Like I share the happy, because I don't want to get into the crappy. And like when it comes to like this whole, not safe for work stuff with Kickstarter, the only things that I contributed to this conversation was helpful tips on how to make your page look safe to be able to do what you're doing. For example, today during Tyler James's 3:00, Comics Launch Pro meeting, I explained to the people there that the way I plan on moving forward, or at least until they'd made the changes today, my thoughts were just reusing the same, using the safer work version twice, and then say the After Dark edition. You know what I mean? So that you're not using typical terms and you're not showing the nude, or even the censored versions. Because, in this world, you kind of have to work around with what you got. I'm not jumping ship. That was the comments. That's also something that I made. I'm not jumping to another platform because, yes, it sucks, the whole censorship thing, but Kickstarter still has the algorithm. It still has the people. Your audience may follow you. Half your audience may follow you, if you're lucky, to another platform.
Right.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
And if you make your own platform, I have my own website, and let me tell you, my sales in comparison to yes, I get, while I'm live, I get sales while on my website, which is weird.
Yeah. I do too. It's weird. Yeah.
But so one begets the other, but still it's Kickstarter is where the audience is, and where we've all cultivated our audience in a sense. Like even when we go to cons, we're like, oh yeah, we launch on Kickstarter. So basically my point is, Fred, is that like I when I do feel like it's my time to comment, it's more in a positive, helpful, this is what I'm doing, this might help you situation. And it's usually when I feel knowledgeable enough. Especially like, I don't feel like when it comes to like controversial stuff in general, unless I'm very well versed in it, I still probably won't get into the controversy, because I'm non-combative. I don't want to. I just like to. I want to be here to do the fun stuff. Comics is fun for me. I don't want to get into it with somebody and then have a beef. I love Travis, but sometimes I feel like he just starts beef or pokes a bear that doesn't need poked, just to kind of get his algorithm going. But maybe it works for him. I don't know. I just like, I see something wrong, I typically am like, I'm Homer in the bushes.
Yeah. And that's how I was for a while. But like I said, when we talked about, and I think we addressed, is like after a while, like you kind of observe and you hear things. And it was nice to really do the show and hear like, JD and a few of the other creators kind of use it, like talking about the specifics of the things, like when they, were using phrases and stuff that were like going through my head. And, even I think somebody even quoted like the old the World War II poem about like first they came for the Jews, but I wasn't Jewish
Right.
and so forth or whatever. And I'd even thought of that, but I was like, oh, I'm not gonna say that or whatever. And somebody else did. I was like, oh, okay. We thought the same brain. So, but yeah, no, thank you guys. I feel better about it.
Yeah. And here's another reason I don't get involved too is I am very combative. Right? It like runs in my blood. Like, I mean, I can fight for days. So I choose not to. You understand? I do the harder part as I choose not to. So
JD takes the high road, whereas I'm like Homer in the bushes.
Right. You understand? Because, it'll go from the high road to that. And then if I see you with a con and I have a hammer, I'll end up in jail. And that's not a good place to be. So, I'd rather just be nice. That's just a New Yorker. Man.
Maybe it's a good thing that we haven't been to a con together. I'd be afraid for you to come up with me with a hammer.
No. I like you, Rob. I like most people. Don't get me wrong.
No, New Yorkers aren't nice. They're kind.
They're kind.
They're kind. And there's a really good example of this. I live up in the Pacific Northwest now, but I'm a Californian originally. Californians tend to be nice. New Yorkers tend to be kind. And a really good example of this was a video I saw. Oh, they're so cute. Of a gentleman yelling at this homeless guy while he was literally taking his shirt off his back and putting it on the naked homeless guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's New York. That's the epitome of New York. And that was just awesome when I saw it. I lived in New York for 15 years. I lived there for a long time. And so that was us. Yeah, that's New York.
Mm-hmm.
They're not nice, but they're kind. They'll berate you and then literally give you the shirt off their back.
Jack's got to roll. The kids are screaming.
Nice meeting you, Jack.
Good luck.
Jack.
Take care.
You're the squeaky toy in the background.
Oops.
So I'm Fred. That seemed like that helped then.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel a lot. I've actually felt better about it since Thursday, but I wanted to kind of bring it up today and see what everybody else thought too.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Madeleine.
Yes. I have this huge fly. It's like a B-17 is flying in my office. So we haven't gotten rid of it yet.
Those things.
So what is your issue and how can we help you?
I have no issues. I just came because I wanted to talk to you guys.
Well, that's fair too. Well, is there anything that you would like to discuss while we have you?
What could we discuss? There are so many things. So
that we all feel comfortable. That's non-controversial.
Yes, non-controversial. I know. Well, here's a possible thing. As most of you know, I've been doing Boston Metaphysical for a long time. Just in the past year, brought on a second title, Morgana Pendragon, and managing just 2 titles on my own is making my head explode. Just from the workload, because it's not double the work; it's pretty much triple, quadruple the work. As you probably know, Rob, you've been doing multiple titles.
I would say JD probably knows more than anybody with his quadruple titles that he's got going on.
How on top of projects can you guys stagger them? Like how many like you're saying 2 is too much for you, Madeleine? Like I mean you have a lot of experience.
2, I do, but I guess it kind of depends on when the Kickstarters are running in as well with fulfillment on top of that, because we fulfilled Morgana and literally 3 days later I launched volume 3 of Boston Metaphysical. And so managing, and all this stuff starts months ahead of time to make all of this, as you know, to make all of this happen. And, trying to get enough sleep and exercise and all that other good stuff. But yeah, I might take a look at this Trello I'm
and like I said to Jack, I would be happy to help set it up and run you through a little more advanced tutorial than just the quick run through.
Mention Rob's name when you sign up and secure a 20% discount.
yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
25% off for free.
I mean, obviously everything gets done because everyone gets their Kickstarter rewards and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, I imagine there is probably a better way to do it.
Do you have a certain like launch schedule that you try to adhere, or do you just go live when you're ready to go live?
I have a launch schedule. I usually map it out about a year ahead of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many can you do in a year?
Excuse me?
How many campaigns can you do in a year? Like, can you manage?
Well, this year I'll probably be doing the most, which will be 3.
Okay.
And they do take up a great deal of time. So I prefer just to do once a year, but just because of things how they worked out this year, I needed to do 3 because I wanted to do Morgana 3 and 4 in the fall to get that out. And because it also depends, like for San Diego Comic-Con, you need to have new material every year. So I, make sure that, publication dates are on time and are on track. And I just like to get stuff done. But I think for me, optimally doing only 2 Kickstarters a year would be great because I also travel for cons and want to get writing done.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough balance.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to actually taking the time to write. Because, when you're in a Kickstarter cycle, you have the production of the book as well as the marketing, the lead up to it, and then being live, and then the post, afterwards, all the setup for that, and then the fulfillment, and then it kind of all starts all over again. I personally try to do 1 per quarter. I started off doing 1 a year. I felt that wasn't enough. Then I bumped it up to 2, 3, 4. If all things go right this year, I may have 5. But one of them is a crossover with David Byrne, so that's kind of like I don't count that as like one of my normal 4. But I do think, like, again, project management is a big part of that. When you have multiple teams working on books, and it's definitely essential to to have something that you're not like, oh, I got to look through that email, or I got to look through Facebook where I got to scroll forever to find it. You know what I mean? Like having something that's easy accessible. Like I said, it doesn't even have to be Trello, just some kind of systems in place. I also, like, when I started doing Nightwolf and then moving into doing with Snowpaw, I felt that I was waiting a lot. That's why I started off doing a year per campaign. And I was like, why is this taking a year to get this out? This is ridiculous. But Carlos, I love him and I love his art. But let's face it, he's in Chile, and he takes his time. More so than he probably should. But so that's when I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do a second title. And then I moved into Snowpaw. And then Mog was doing it. And then she was taking a year or so. And then I was like, oh my God. I was like, so now I got these 2 that are like rotating, and still I feel like wasn't enough. So then I threw in the Wolfpack Pup stuff, like with a different artist, just to try and fill my time while I was like, you know what I mean? Like for me, I wanted to do more. I wanted to put out more often, but I was kind of like stuck with what was going on with my art.
And sometimes it's, it's outside of your control. I mean, the artists are getting the work done, but it's just coming in slower increments than you would like.
Yeah.
And, working with Alden, who's doing Morgana, this guy cranks. It's like every week and a half, it's like, oh, here's 3 pages for you to review. I'm like,
yeah. It's amazing when that happens. Like that was what it was like working with Evan on Snowpaw, because like I was used to, like, with Mog, it was like it took like 3 months to a year to get stuff out, and same with like Carlos. He's gotten to be like, now I can get like 2 books a year with him, But like Evan cranked out those 16 pages, those additional pages in the month. I was like, holy crap, I don't even know what to do with myself.
Yeah. And so, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, obviously I have systems in place or else nothing would ever get done. But always looking to do things more efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Very true. I mean, you could also do it like JD does. He runs one a month and he doesn't market anything. He just does these shows.
Yeah. I mean, I think I did 13 of them last year.
Oh my God.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
I think it was like 13. Yeah. Between the two, I have 2 accounts. Well, now it's 3. But yeah, I think I ran 13, about 8 Oswalds and 5 on the other account. So I think 2 Dreamweavers, 3 Magi's Grace. I'm not really sure. Something like that. And then it's all about, look, I'm in a very privileged position because my wife is also heavily involved, right? Yeah. She's an artist. She does her own book. We give each other the space to create, right? Like we know, Rob, you have, your wife, and I'm sure Madeleine has her husband, and I don't know, Fred, I don't know if you have a significant other, but
got a dog.
When you have, right, dog, there you go. But when you have that other person, you have to dedicate a lot of time to that person for the relationship. So, but with Daphne and I, we go out all the time on the weekends, but during the week, I get home, I have dinner, we talk for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I gotta go to work. And she's like, okay. And she does the same. Right. And then we hang out on the weekends, but even on the weekends, I still have, 5 or 6 hours that I can dedicate to this stuff. So, it's, I'm blessed in that regard. So, but the other thing is, working on Oswald, I ride the subways back and forth. I was riding on the subway every day, back and forth. You understand? I was just sitting on the train and just writing. Right. If you just, if you have that extra time, just write, and then just do what you got to do. And then when I would come home, it was just all putting books together. So I do my own lettering. So I was either lettering, doing what little marketing I do, doing shows like this, and putting together campaigns, and and that's really what it is. And you just got to keep it going. So, and like I said, I consider it a hamster wheel, and I'm always on it, and I'm constantly running. So,
yeah. I mean, and that's, in the sense, like I started doing stuff for Joel Rodriguez for Metal Ninja Studios, running their Kickstarters for their clients, because for me, I felt like I still wasn't doing enough waiting between the two, teams. I'm like, okay, well, what do I do now in the middle? And I actually do. I enjoy running a Kickstarter. I'm not gonna lie. I love doing it more than my regular job. So when Joel basically he's like, hey, we're going to try and get you a full-time job doing this. And I'm like, all right, I'm all in.
Cool. Nice. Yeah.
Well, right. Somebody enjoys running campaigns.
Yeah. I find it to be like a puzzle or a chess game, if you will. And because there's always the moving parts and changing, everything's always changing. You can't use you can use the same playbook, but don't rest on your laurels. Try something new, because something that worked last time is not going to work this time. It's always kind of okay, well, what can I do? All right, today's a slow day. Nobody's back or one person's back. What can I do to get that ball rolling again?
Yeah.
It's like.
All right, Rob. So but sometimes it just boils down to, here we go, fisticuffs, right? So
I love the segues.
I swear he works harder on the segues than he does the marketing.
I probably do. I mean, but no,
right.
But Fred, please tell us about your campaign.
Sure. So, Fisticuffs is the story of a functional drunk whose comfortable life derails when a one-night stand has deadly consequences. It is the sense of humor of The Boys meets the explosive action of Invincible with the kind of personal storytelling you get in a Martin Scorsese film, as it deals with a lot of dysfunction, right? It has to deal with a protagonist that has, putting it nicely, some mental health issues and some addiction issues and a lot of, deeply personal issues. I like to say that he is a guy that imagines himself like Alex DeLarge or Slim Shady, but doesn't realize he's closer in character to George Costanza. Fisticuffs is a 6-issue miniseries. This is going to be issues 1 through 4 available. We're going to have the first 72 hours front loaded with some exclusives, some catch-up bundles in case you're late to the party and you want to see what this is all about. And launching June 2nd. Hope to see you guys all show up and support.
All right, cool. Very nice. So you got 105 back. Oh no.
136.
Yes.
That's
You've backed
solid.
105 campaigns. That's what I was saying.
Oh yeah. But yeah, as Rob says, even in pre-launch for about like 7 years now. So we get about 0.5 followers per day. So we're averaging strong.
But I mean, honestly, though, that's an impressive number. Even so, like, I mean, a lot of people don't like. You have like the, average. Probably most people get less than 100 on average, right? I mean, you get, and then there's the people who get more, but that's because they probably already have a larger audience. But for somebody like you keep saying how like you want to try and build up your audience. I mean, 100 and was it 36?
Yeah,
136.
136. That's nothing. That's
solid.
nothing. Yeah. Good.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, maybe I can be hard on myself, I guess, but yeah, no, and that's the other, you don't, I'm kind of new to this, so I don't know what's good. So hearing that from you guys, makes me feel good. Shit, I'll go to bed with a smile on my face today instead of a frown. Those are the good days. I like Kickstarters too, like Rob. Like I love them, but they are a roller coaster, and they've been aging me like crazy. Like I used to. I've been using the line like since I started doing Kickstarters, I've aged like Lincoln during the Civil War. But like these wrinkles didn't used to be here like a year and a half ago. These are all brand new, and this is what Kickstarter's done to me. So, but it's fun, and I love it. So support.
Cool. Well, sign up.
Yes, follow. Yes.
Your barking dog has scared my dog out of my
I'm sorry. Hey, would you stop scaring the
She's
other
gone.
doggies? Be a
She's
good
gone.
boy.
She doesn't like noise.
I'm sorry, Parker. You're never gonna make friends this way, buddy. Madeleine, I tell everybody. You probably heard this one on a show before with me, but I named him Parker so that when he's bad, I can yell at him and feel like J. Jonah Jameson.
There you go. Madeline.
Yeah,
Do you want me to play this video real quick?
sure, if you want.
Hi, my name is Madeleine Holly-Rosing, and I'm the writer-creator of the steampunk supernatural series, Boston Metaphysical Society. Welcome to our Kickstarter to print Volume 3, Special Edition hardback and softback of Mystery at Pikes Peak. If you're not familiar with the story, it's about an ex-Pinkerton detective, a spirit photographer, and a genius scientist who battles supernatural forces in late 1890s Boston. In Mystery at Pikes Peak, our team flees the law in Boston to arrive at the only safe haven they can find, Tesla's experimental station in Colorado Springs. There, they meet Tesla's unlikely partner, Magi Chow, a scientist from the Great House Chow in California. But when an attempt is made on Tesla's life and Caitlin's visions resurface in an unexpected way, the team find themselves caught in a web of intrigue and murder. With a fabulous cover by Claudia Nunziello, this special edition of Volume 3 not only includes a complete Mystery at Pikes Peak miniseries, but additional pinup art by Ron Randall, Ed Jimenez, and more, as well as all 4 of our variant covers, and an 11-page bonus story with art by Roberta Ingranata. And there's more. We're also doing a limited run of our mechanical arm metal bookmarks designed by Alejandro Lee. And yes, Volume 1 and 2 special editions will be available as well in digital and physical rewards. The best part is that the volume is in pre-press and should be ready to go to the printer by the end of the campaign. So please, be sure to check out all of our reward tiers and pledge today. Thank you in advance for your support.
Cool. Very nice. All right. So Madeline, just walk us through your campaign.
Um, where would you like me to start? We're funded.
Cool.
Is it just me or is JD frozen with a very big smile on his?
That's quite
He's
fun.
kind of frozen. Yes, he looks like he's frozen.
Frozen. Am I frozen? I don't know.
Now you're good. You're good.
Okay.
But it was just funny because like the whole time you look like you had this big shit-eating grin on your face.
I basically wanted to get volume 3 done. I know we just finished Pike's Peak, about 6 months ago or so, but had an idea for a story, wanted a short story, and was able to get Roberta and Granada on board. If you don't know her, she's done Doctor Who and just a whole pile of stuff. She's wonderful to work with. We've got basic starter packages for someone who's brand new to the series. We call our starter kit. So you can start with volume 1 and the novel Storm of Secrets. And unfortunately, all the early birds are over. But you can get either, all 3 volumes in softback or hardback. And fortunately, we've made 3 stretch goals so far, which means the hardback will be getting a satin ribbon and will be foil and stamped. And the first digital bundle of 6 comics will be going out. And I think the fourth stretch goal is another 6 digital comics. And then I have some more waiting in the wings.
All right, cool. Now, how thick is the book?
It's going to be 136 plus pages.
Cool.
Some of the pending stretch goals will be adding additional pinup art, so we're a little flexible there. If anything, the page count will go up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very nice, very nice. Now, what do you think is going to be your turn time after the campaign? A couple months before
I suspect August, because these will be coming from China.
Mm-hmm.
I use Printlore, and all my hardbacks have come from a particular printer there, and they've done an outstanding job. They all look beautiful. And all of them have the foil stamping and the satin ribbon, and just they look gorgeous. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. All right.
But I was hoping maybe we'll get them in before San Diego Comic-Con, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that.
Okay. Cool.
But
I mean,
it should be here by August.
Yeah. I mean, your book's always beautiful, so I've gotten several. So.
Yeah, I really like Volume 1. I read it a while back. I got it on, I think, one of the earlier campaigns. So I'm excited.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Very cool. So you have another 22 days. So, everyone, please go buy a book. They're awesome.
Lots of them.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, this guy. All right. This guy.
I mean, you could have done Jack's first.
Jack's not here to promote his book. I mean, I'll pull it up, but
That's all right. Yeah, so this is in post, I guess.
Late pledges.
Late pledges, yeah, whatever.
Late pledges,
whatever that new thing is that they did. And it's so we are obviously funded, and I believe, let's see, this week Friday we'll be receiving the funds from Kickstarter, and we will be going to print right away. So yeah, we're good to go. But if anybody felt like they missed the campaign, they're more than welcome to jump in here. Or there's going to be I'm wrapping up the backer kit pledge manager, so there'll be that pre-order site as well. To get the book. And there's also a fun story by Madeleine in it as well.
Oh, very nice.
It was fun to write.
I'm glad you had fun again, and it's great working with you again. This is actually Madeleine's second story that she's written for me.
That's true.
Nice. All right, cool. So, Rob, this is the first volume.
Yes.
Are you planning on a second limited series?
Yeah, I already have plans for the next one. I just have to sit down and write the next issue. As we all know, that finding time for that's so much fun.
But you an app, right? That helps with that.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, no. Everything comes out of the old Noodle and onto my my old Microsoft Word. The old-fashioned way.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no. It's so the next story arc. It takes place a short time after this one ends. This one doesn't jump into it right away. It's kind of like a like a happy ending for this one. The next one, however, will be my Empire Strikes Back. It won't end on a happy note.
Okay, fair enough. But it looks great, man. You're a great artist on the book, so looking forward, because I know Daphne ordered it, and I always read hers. So.
Well, and Daphne has some art in it as well. She with her pinups and cover art that she's done for the series, so she'll be able to have that in there as well with her credits.
All right, cool. Rob, do you want to promote?
Yeah, I'll help Jack out. So this is Jack's fantasy series, Legends of the Realm. This is his collected edition. All the art, as far as I know, was done by Evan Scale, who we've been talking about a lot. He's a great artist. He's done a lot of work for me as far as doing like cover work and doing crossover art. He did the 16 pages for Snowfall Volume 1. And yeah, this is my introduction to him, actually, was through Jack's series. And I feel like Jack doesn't get enough credit for this series, and I think that he needs more eyeballs on it. So for those of you out there who haven't read it yet, I highly suggest it's a great fantasy series, and great art, great team. Yeah, check it out.
All right, cool. The artwork is so good that Rob had to go swipe his artist. It's terrible. No, but that's the one thing. You didn't swipe him, you just borrowed him.
I did, yeah, I just borrowed him. He had the time. And like I said, he crushed 16 pages in a month. I was like, that's unheard of for me.
Very nice. Yeah, no, good job. It looks like a great book. So everybody, Jack has another 22 days. He's about half, a little bit more than halfway there. So he needs to get his hustle on. But yeah, I think he'll make it. He's not gonna have an issue. All right, cool. Real quick, I'll pull up one of my campaigns. Just one.
I'm sorry if you can hear the rain. It's starting to rain here now.
Gotcha. So I'm back with the Oswald Chronicles, and this is a country night in New York City. This is the story of a young lady. Her name is Anna, and she is a knight. And the reason she's a knight is because her father and her elder brother, who was supposed to have that mantle, passed away in a war. And she's the only one that's left to defend her family and her crest. So she's sent off. Her community is attacked by these very strange fae. And they've been basically taking the civilians and trying to do things. And they send Anna off to go to New York City to get a larger force to come back. And this is her story. And Oswald's telling the story in that. And we have Anna here with Death Dealer Frank Frazetta homage.
I was just going to say, is it kind of a riff off of Frank?
Yeah. That's yes. That was the one thing, because the way Jade Gonzalez is my artist, she's the series artist, and the way she draws her is, like this. She's very cartoony and just kind of really cute. And I just thought it would be hilarious if I hired this other artist. Where is his name? Yeah, Douglas Apareciado Manzini. He's a Brazilian guy, very good artist. I found him on DeviantArt. And I said,
Yeah, I know Frazetta.
Yeah.
You look behind me.
And and I had him do this one as well. So these are both Death Dealer homages. So I just thought it was funny to have those. And these are some of the interior pages to the book, which is again by Jade Gonzalez, and just features some of the stuff. It's a fun story. She gets up to all kinds of shenanigans in the story as she tries to get through this quest that she's put on. So another 5 days. So it's going well. There you go.
I think you could sell prints of the Death Dealer on the chicken thing.
Probably, yeah.
Honestly, that was one of the first things that drew my eye in. But as you know, I wait until you color it and then you repurpose the volume.
Definitely. All right. Cool. I mean, we're at the end. We made it to the hour and a half. All right. So thank you so much for everybody for being here. Let's start with Fred. Fred, please, where can they find you and your work, sir?
You can find me at Schwartz Art LLC on all the big social medias and at www.schwartzart-llc.com. And of course, on Kickstarter, Fisticuffs Book 4 launching June 2nd. Hope to see you all there.
All right, cool. Madeleine?
You can find me under my company name, queenofmercia.com. Also, if you pop in Boston Metaphysical, it'll go straight to queenofmercia.com. On Facebook, either me, Boston Metaphysical, or Queen of Mercia. I'm not really that much on Twitter anymore. Blue Sky, M. Holly. Basically, if you just type in Boston Metaphysical, it's going to pull me up because there's nobody else out there.
Cool. Rob?
Yeah, you can find me pretty much on most of the socials, but I'm more active on Facebook, X, Instagram, sometimes Blue Sky, at Lone Wolf Comics. You can find me also on Facebook, X, and Instagram at Rob Multari. LoneWolfComics.com is my website. If you want to get the late pledge for Snowpaw, go to snowpaw.lonewolfcomics.com. That will take you to the Kickstarter page and jump on in. I'll be sending surveys out probably right after Memorial Day, so probably on Tuesday.
All right, cool. And you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those different places. YouTube most Sunday nights. I will be taking a hiatus on the 31st, so I will not have a show that day. But this weekend, I will be having a show. And please, everyone, check out the show notes, because in the show notes are links to all of these creators' campaigns. Click on those links, pick up some of these books. All of these creators are impassioned. All of these creators are doing great work. So please, check out those books and buy them. All right? So thank you so much. And just remember, everyone, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.